guys, gals, how's it going? Welcome to episode 135 of Rookie Hunter. Hope everyone's doing well. Spring is finally here. We're into April. I don't know about you guys, but I've been out on the trail doing a bunch of training and soaking up the nice weather. Feeling pretty good. So hopefully you guys are all feeling motivated to get out there and take it all in too. Spring is obviously sort of the topic of discussion for Garrett and Kelly. In this episode, you're going to hear a little bit of gear talk for all you gear nerds out there. But hey, let's get right into it. Sit back, relax, crack an ice cold beer, and enjoy episode 135 with Garrett and Kelly.
What's going on with the dogs? You said they were causing a ruckus.
Oh, the horses are playing and they're watching them, so they want to join in the action, so we don't let them over there. So they're watching them. They're watching them from one side of the pasture in their pen, and they want to go over there and play, so they start barking.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad for the neighbor, but he's pretty cool with it.
The bark's got to be loud. You sent us a video of was that Amy greeting the horses in the morning? They're sleeping in the sun there?
Yeah, they pass out on the bank there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. They do look like big dogs.
Yeah, they're living it up. They're liking the sunshine, that's for sure.
Yeah, just chilling out.
They're getting to their routine.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're getting some good spring mornings lately, too. I'm excited because it's like we've kind of had a bit of a space this month between podcasts. So it feels like quite a while since we had a chat, but we're like, 7 days from April right now? And that's black bear season. I believe your region's the same as region 8 where I am. April 1st?
Yeah, April 1st.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. I better double check that.
And then
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then turkey's April 15th.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, we've got some We're getting there. I pulled the gun out of the safe last weekend and gave her a bit of a clean. Nothing crazy, just a little bit of some ram oil on the barrel, like just on the outside and stuff. I just like to wipe everything down a little bit and keep it shiny. And then I can't remember the name of the solvent in the gun oil that I use, but I cleaned out the barrel a little bit. Like just a couple things of solvent, because I can't actually remember if I did it at the end of the season last year. And then I just put like a couple dry patches through and then an oil patch, and that was about it.
Nice.
I don't really do much more than that in terms of prepping. How about you? What's your routine, like beginning or end of season with your rifles?
You know what? Every time I take my gun out, and I go on a hunt, like I know you do too, Kelly. I always put the tape around the end of the barrel, right?
Yep.
Like, no matter what.
Yep.
And then I always bring, like if we're going on a backpack hunt, I always bring a snake for that caliber, right?
Yep.
That's kind of, I think we discussed that there. But
you never know, something can get stuck in there.
Exactly. But if I'm doing like a day hunt, I'll bring it home and I will run the snake down. Like I'll take the bolt out, I'll wipe it down with a little bit of oil, and then sorry, that's the dog going crazy in the background. And then I'll wipe it. I think it's Hooper's. I think I use.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And then I just clean it off, and then run a snake down the barrel. Like the two guns I have there, they have the stainless steel barrels, so they're. But if it's like if I bring that 30-30 out where it has the it's got a different barrel. Yeah, it's got the gun bluing on it.
Yeah.
That one, I got to wipe it down if there's any kind of moisture or anything. Otherwise, you get like surface rust on it.
Right. Yeah, like moisture's water's usually the enemy, and it seems like with everything. With houses and guns and everything. I totally hear you. The stainless, I've never owned anything but a stainless, but I do feel like you can get away with a lot with the stainless barrels. Did you just figure we talk about rifle cleaning a little bit, and even like you bought a new rifle, what was that, a couple years ago?
Yeah, I bought that rifle for I think I had it there when we went on our very first sheep hunt there, me,
Yep.
you, and Mike,
I'm
when we
pretty
were
sure you
sleeping in
did.
the Kafaru teepee.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what did you get?
I went with the Seiko Finlight, so factory, not custom. I mean, most people know that the name Seiko.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went with the 270 caliber. I just wanted a gun that, I mean, I could shoot multiple different animals with, and ammunition is available. And my dad has he's got a bunch of reloading stuff for a 270. So
Nice.
it's something that I could transition my kids into once they come up.
Did you break that in at all? What's your thoughts on that? Or did you just sight it in and call it quits?
Well, no, when they set it up, they did the, I believe it's called bore sighting. Is that right?
Yep.
And then, I did you take one shot and then clean it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let it cool, take another shot, clean it out. So I did all that,
yeah.
And then, but I mean, to tell you that gun, it's phenomenal. That was, it kind of makes the other gun almost look like a piece of crap.
What was your old one? Can't remember.
Yeah. Actually, the old one's good.
Was the old one a Weatherby Vanguard or something like that?
No, it's a Remington Model 700, but it was like the mountain gun where it had, it's got the extra weatherproofing on it and all that.
What caliber was that?
That's a 300 Win Mag. It's a good gun.
Okay. I thought you had a WSM in that one for some reason, but yeah, that's,
No.
I remember now.
One sec here, Kelly. The dog's, he's going in to eat all the horse food.
No worries.
Oh, the little bugger. Yeah, he's watching me. He knows that I'm tied up here.
Man, dogs are the best, but they're also frustrating. I was chasing Norris around the yard with the rake today. Just because our yard backs up against the neighbor's yard, so then they let their dogs out. Norris is, he's jumping on the fence and through the trees, and I'm chasing him around, and yeah, good times.
Dog, man, these dogs, holy cow.
I can't imagine your situation with two big hounds like that.
They're always testing the boundaries.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about your rifle there. You had that, and that the calibers are quite different, like what you were at and then what you went to, right? Like, big, well, I guess not huge, but it's a 300 Win Mag. It's a pretty powerful gun. And then you went down to that 270, which I'm sure had quite the difference, eh?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Even everything, the feel, the trigger. Actually, after when I bought that Seiko, just the trigger alone, and then going back to the 300 Win Mag.
Yeah.
I pulled the trigger out of that 300 Win Mag and replaced it with I believe it's called Timney.
Oh yeah.
Trigger. So a really good trigger, which made a world of a difference shooting that gun.
Interesting.
So actually getting into cleaning, I made a mistake by over oiling the gun. Like I would go out on a hunt, come back, clean it, oil everything down, make sure everything was nice, like the bolt and all that.
Yep.
But I had so much oil and that built up in the bolt and in the trigger that when I brought it into the gunsmith, he pulled the bolt apart and it had a whole bunch of grime and stuff built up in the bolt. So he cleaned everything out, and then my trigger was just, I mean, it wasn't the greatest trigger from the start. So I just said, well, let's replace it with something good. Then that way, and it for shooting, for bench shooting, it made, I mean, it helped me out a lot.
Yeah. That's a pretty good combo, actually. You got something for moose and, big, I mean, you could technically hunt a moose with a 270, but you're kind of on the bottom edge there, but you've also got the 300 Win Mag in the gun safe too. So you're not short-handed at all. And the 270, you can hunt everything with it. So that's a pretty good combo you got.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of they bridge the gap. Like if they ever did open up grizzly bear here,
Yeah,
then I could shoot the 300.
100%.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I remember your Seiko there. Like we had my Tika T3 and your Seiko Finlight side by side, and kind of them being somewhat similar from like a aesthetic perspective, like, you know, color wise and barrel color and function and that type of thing. But, you know, they're kind of two completely different animals at the end of the day. Like I feel like, you know, I think about, you know, you can have a real tailor-made driver, or you can get the burner knockoff, and I kind of feel like that's what the Tika is. Still a good, I mean, it's a good rifle, and it's nice and light.
I wouldn't knock that. That rifle's amazing. The Tika is, and it's like one of the most popular rifles.
Yeah,
in terms of build quality and. Like they're great rifles.
I mean, for value, I think it's a pretty good value rifle, and I haven't had any issues with mine. It shoots good. It's nice and light. But yeah, I mean, if you have the ability to kind of get into that next class, I mean, you kind of drop a lot of the plastic and you get a little better bolt, and you get kind of what you pay for, I guess, at the end of the day with anything. But yeah, that's a super nice rifle. I just wanted to ask you about your break-in. It sounds like you did kind of that general break-in process, and I've been looking into that a little bit. It seems like people fall into two different camps on that, but the weird thing is, like, if you talk to most manufacturers or you try to find information on it at the manufacturer website, there's like nothing there. The only place you really find break-in information is like internet forums, which kind of is a warning flag for me. Yeah. But I was looking into it a little bit, and like the one camp is absolutely, you know, do this because, you know, why wouldn't you? It just, you know, their theory is that it makes it cleaner, easier to clean the gun at least moving forward. So I think a lot of people do it. And I guess the one downside is it just, what I've read is you don't want to overheat the barrel. So like if you're taking more than 3 shots at a time, just make sure you let it cool down, because you want to avoid the erosion, which would happen like in any case, whether you're breaking it in or just shooting or whatever. But it doesn't seem like it necessarily hurts it, but it just costs a lot of money to fire a bunch of bullets down there.
Oh,
and it's a whole day, right? It's like 8 hours of, you know, shoot, clean 10 times, and then you're shooting 3, and then you're cleaning, and it's just like that's hours of work. So I don't know, man. I kind of fall in the camp of like, if I buy a new rifle, I just take it to the range and end up firing like 20 shots anyways, just because I'm sighting it in. And then I'll just come home and clean it, and I'll call it a day. I'm kind of there. Like, I don't know. Most of the rifles are cold forged or hammer forged and stuff. So I don't know if there's really, you know, that much in terms of burrs and stuff in there really. But the other thing is, I guess if I bought a rifle that was, if I was dropping like a ton of money on a rifle, I'd definitely phone the manufacturer and just ask them what to do. Because I think it's different, like with every gun too. You know, like match grade guns versus, you know, I don't know what Gunworks process is. And then you talk to like Tika and they say, yeah, don't worry about it. It's just, you know, the cold hammer forged, you know, you're not going to change much. And so I don't know. I just thought I'd get your thoughts on that.
Well, you know what, like going back to the talking about barrels and that, like the 270, it's got a fluted barrel. So, I mean, that's a good point. You don't want to just start jacking rounds through it without letting it cool down.
Yeah.
And then my old man, he's got a 288 mountain rifle. It's got a real thin barrel too. It's the same thing. You don't want to keep cycling rounds through it and overheat the barrel. That was one thing I was told.
Yeah.
See, and that, see, having the 300, I don't know if this holds any weight, but I feel like a gun, like a Magnum, a higher caliber like that, I think you want some inertia around. Like, I think you want a thicker, heavier barrel, especially if you're putting those larger rounds through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, like, they make that Finlight in a 300 Win Mag. I can't see going to the range and shooting off a box of shells with that.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to do the process. Cool. Yeah, like you're talking about, like, shoot one, wait, So that's the other
Definitely.
reason why I went with the 270. Just
Yep.
I think if I were to get another 30 caliber rifle, it would be the same concept. I wouldn't be going the ultralight backpacking style, right?
Yep.
You know, like a
Yeah.
little more bulk.
I feel like it's nothing's for free. So as soon as you start going in the lightweight direction, if you want to keep the power but also make it lightweight, you're kind of, it's like photography, right? Like you can't have a really fast lens that is also really lightweight. It just, the two
Exactly.
things don't match. So you end up, I think what happens is, because I was looking at Kimbers, and I think if I was to buy another rifle, that it would probably be a Kimber. And then I was looking at, like, I don't know, 300 Win Mag. That seems like the perfect BC gun.
You could shoot everything.
If all things equal, like it seems like the best caliber because you can shoot anything, right?
Yeah.
But then if you wanted a lightweight rifle, you're totally right. Like, what are you giving up there? Because your accuracy is probably going to go down the tube a little bit, at least, just because of the power of the rifle and how well you're shooting it and how stable you can even hold it in the first place because it's so light. But then you're kind of stuck like having a little longer barrel and a bit of a bigger action, and like all these things start adding up to like a little more weight on the whole point of why you went to the lighter rifle in the first place. So yeah, I kind of like your strategy, keeping it non-magnum, and it's not a short action, but it's like a versatile action, right? And you still have a short barrel. You could still have I think it's, what do you got, a 22 on that? It's a pretty short barrel.
The 270 I think is 24, and then the 300 is 26.
Yeah, exactly. Like 26. When you start getting over 24, that's pretty long and heavy.
It is.
It adds more to the weight for sure. Yeah.
And then like in terms of ammunition, like the 270, like I went with the concept, well, I'm going to shoot a lighter round. That way it's just hauling out of there. So I got a flatter trajectory. So I'm shooting 130 grain Barnes TTSX. And they got the little blue tips on them.
Yeah.
So I figure
so those are the full copper bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get that higher velocity, and then same. And so it's like I'm not shooting elk or anything. And that's kind of more or less the deer, goat gun, sheep, that sort of thing. And then with the 300, I'm shooting 180 grain, so even that's just ripping out of there too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the angle I took on that. And I know like you and Mike with the 30-06, you guys got a real wide range of selection. I mean, that's the plus side for 30-06. You get such a wide selection, right?
Yeah. I always have a really tough time because have mentioned in the past that I've looked at potentially getting another gun. I'm sure it'll happen one day. And of course, part of the fun in all of this is just doing the research and imagining, and kind of looking through every option and going online and all that. But I always like do these loops, and I always come back to the 30-06 because it kind of fits in that 300 Win Mag category of like the 30 cal and BC. Like you can shoot everything with it, and the range of grain that you can use. And then, my Tikka is a 22-inch barrel, so you can run pretty short barrels with the 30-06. So I don't know. I just find that because I'm not really shooting anything over 300 yards, I don't like the ballistics don't really make much of a difference inside of 300 yards, I find.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 2 inches maybe, like between like a 300 Win Mag and I would have to look at the numbers again, but I mean, I don't think it's, depending on how you sight it in, and I'm kind of doing the, shooting flat at 200 type thing. So like by the time it gets to 300, like, you're kind of shooting, if you were shooting dead center at an animal at 300 yards, you probably hit it like 3 or 4 inches low. And if I was shooting, maybe a faster rifle, like I just don't think it's that big of a significant jump to really warrant the money for a Magnum caliber or the length of the barrel or the weight or the loudness or just all that crap that comes with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The one thing I have read is like the 270 and the 30-06. One, I've read, I think it's Chuck Hawks. He was saying like one good duo is to have a 270 and a 30-06, and then you use the 270 with like a light ammo for like your deer gun and your super flat shooting, that type of thing, goats maybe.
Right.
But then you have your 30-06 with a 180 in it, or even higher, so you can kind of shoot the elk and the moose and that type of thing with it, which I always thought was kind of a cool idea. And I think everybody kind of wants to have a 270 and a 30-06 anyways. So, I mean, they're such classic calibers.
Oh, that 30-06 is it's probably the most versatile gun.
Yeah. But like, when we look at the bullets of even those two, like the sectional density, which kind of tells us how well it's going to penetrate, like the 150 270 I read has like a, I don't know if it's 0.278 or something sectional density, and a 180 grain 30-06 bullet has like a 271. So
wow.
like a 150 270 bullet versus a 180 30-06 bullet, the 270 is actually like just a touch better sectional density wise than the 30-06. I mean, obviously the bullet isn't as wide, but it's going to penetrate a little better, like, or basically on par. So I don't know. It's just something to consider. I do think the 270 is a pretty amazing caliber. They're both basically the same cartridge. It's just, one's a little thinner and it seems to shoot flatter and maybe even penetrate a little better.
And like the other thing too, now that we're on the topic of 30-06, I like the price of ammunition. I like, because right now I've been reading that 28 Nosler, they've been rivaling it up against the 270. And then you look at a case of shells for 28 Nosler and it's like, holy.
Well, that's the thing. And they're that's a cool caliber. I like the 280 AI too. So like if I was going to get a Kimber, I'd probably go 280 AI. But is there a reason why? Not really. It's kind of like in between the 270 and the 30-06, which I think are both amazing. So like, why not kind of go with one in the middle, which seems, I've been reading about it a while ago, and it seems to kind of put you in that 7mm Rem mag territory without the mag. So it just seems like a cool idea, but is it really necessary? No, it's just cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. How is the recoil on that 30-06?
It's actually not that bad. And I've got the rifle with my new scope on it. I have it to 7 pounds, like on the nose. So it's super light. And I did have to flip the recoil pad on that Tika, because the recoil pad, I don't know if the new ones are any better, but the one that I got, it's like a hockey puck on the end.
Ooh.
And I remember it beating the crap out of my shoulder when I started shooting it the first time, when I was sighting it in, and I had problems doing that because it was my first time ever. And then I had just a bruised arm the next day. But so I immediately just bought a new limb saver and threw that on there. And ever since, like, I can take it out with a t-shirt on and shoot like 20 bullets and be having a blast.
Yeah,
like,
that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and it makes your shooting better, subconsciously, just knowing that you're not going to feel any pain and you're kind of just having fun out there and you're enjoying kind of pulling the trigger. Like, that makes a huge difference in your accuracy.
I agree with you on that. That's kind of where I came to with that 300 Win Mag and that old trigger. Something needed to change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And when I first started out, looking at calibers, like, I'm going to go back to this because I'm using my old man all the time. Their generation, all of them shot like 338. And I took a shot one of those, and I'm like, I would not be able to comfortably shoot this gun.
Yeah.
It was too much gun for me.
Yeah.
So it's I want to go to the range and shoot and enjoy shooting.
You know what, caliber, and I mentioned this before, 7mm08 is another caliber that I'd really like to get. I think it'd be good for, like, if Bree ever wanted to get into shooting, or, when James is old enough, like, that would be a really good caliber for him. But I also would like to use something like that in a super lightweight rifle for, like, even goats or, goat, sheep, deer, right? Like 7mm08 short action, really light gun with a really light recoil. That seems like a pretty good match.
Yeah, Kimber makes that one. It's like tiny. I think Adarnak. I think that's.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
Yeah, it's got the super short
and it's
barrel.
like it looks just
Yeah.
like the ideal that you just slips in your backpack.
Yeah, I don't
Would
know what
weigh
calibers
nothing.
it comes in, but we'll have to talk to Nolan. He's like the Kimber guy. He's got a few of them.
Oh, perfect.
Nolan from Beyond the Kill. But yeah, I hear you. I think they do make that short barrel gun.
And same with Randy Newberg. I think he's a big contender of the 7mm08. He has
Yep.
that Howa.
Yep, the Howell mountain rifle, super
Yeah.
short. Yeah, I like that idea, man. And again,
I-
like we're not shooting. I'm not planning on shooting 600 yards. So, yeah, is it 26 barrel better for accuracy? Sure, but I guess it depends what you're shooting and how far.
Like our range here, we can't even practice out to that far.
Yeah.
So I don't even have anywhere to go and try to hone my skills in at. So I think confidently shooting at 300, that's all I can do then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to practice out to 4 just to, because then if you get into that between 3 and 4 range, you're not inexperienced or uncomfortable, and you might be in a position like that one day. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like hunting is more about getting closer, and it's almost like a bow hunting approach, right? Like just I don't really know if I want to be able to shoot an animal from 600. Like I'm almost rather force myself to get closer anyway.
Definitely. I feel like 600 would be like just having fun out the range.
Yeah, exactly.
That's me personally though.
Me too. I mean, a lot of guys do it and they do it well, and I'm not trying to, to each their own. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's times where the most important thing is maybe the decision to not take the shot. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. What do you think what's your angle on getting James started shooting? This is something I constantly, I'm always trying to figure out. Like I know
in terms of
airsoft,
age,
just like getting him comfortable with guns and like everything, just getting him started. Like,
yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like he's so young at this point that it's and I've thought about it, but I just feel like he's so young at this point that I'm not even to the point where I can really imagine it too much.
but
he's like 18 months right now, so he's
so pretty close, another month.
by summer he should be good.
By summer we shoot. But when he's old, like I'm saying, like when he's old enough, how are you going to transition him into?
Yeah, I like the idea that Daisy rifle, like that.
Yeah,
we were picking off mice with it in camp there.
Man, that was a riot.
That was, but also disgusting, and it totally. I had no idea that was going to happen. Killed like 27 mice that night. But anyways, I kind of feel like something like that, like a little pellet gun or something, like at a certain age, and then you kind of work into shooting a 22. Like that seems natural to me. I don't know what age that would be. I didn't go through that myself as a kid, so I don't have any reference point really. But I don't know. I was thinking like between 5 and 7, or somewhere in there. You could probably like, as long as you're holding it with them and stuff, you could probably get some shots in.
Yeah, once they grasp the concept that they have a lethal weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I
then
was thinking somewhere like that. But I do think like the earlier, where as long as it makes sense, like the earlier probably the better in terms of them understanding.
Like I know they make those youth guns. Sorry, Kelly. With like the biggest challenge I have right now with my son is the stock, right? Like I could saw it down, but I know they make those safe single shot bolt action 22s that have the short so you can get his arm around it.
Yeah, totally. And I also have that Ruger, what is it?
1022?
Semi-auto. Yeah, it like reloads by itself. So I would never.
That thing's awesome.
It's awesome, but I never give it to a kid, like even under, I don't know how old, but that's something that I keep for myself. I buy something different. Like you said, a single action, or like a bolt action or something like that. It's just sketchy, like it popping another bullet in there. Seems unnecessary for kids.
And then the next question is to transition out of a 22. Then where do you go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'd want a gun that is more or less you can hunt with,
Like a
right?
243 or something.
240, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure
And
at
then
240.
7mm08, maybe
Yeah.
from there. I don't know.
See, I've never shot these guns before. I'd be curious to see, I mean, what the recoil's like and all that. Like,
Yeah, I agree. You're well ahead of me in this, so I'll be paying attention.
well, like
Actually, that would be good podcast topic too. Like when you start doing that, we should chat about it.
well, let's see. Like, I keep thinking about like how he's got the BB gun right now. He shoots it and he's having fun, so that's good. He's doing the whole getting his breathing down and shooting, and he's hitting the targets, so he's having a good time. So just let him hone his skills in on that, and then it's like we just talked about when to make that jump into recoil and the noise, and right,
Yeah.
So to figure that out, I think that'll be a learning curve for me too.
Yeah, you almost need to get like a 243 or something, and then shoot it around him, like so he knows, like he watches you do it for a while or something. At least the noise and stuff wouldn't be as shocking. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's one in between the 243 and a BB and a 22 that would make sense, but I don't know. I think 243 would be good. Plus, it's another excuse to buy another gun.
When I was young, when the first gun I hunted with was the 22 250.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of, but even like that was, when you're like, what, you're 10 years old when you can become a youth hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you're carrying around some firepower there
Yeah.
at 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly. What was the first I ever shot? I think the first gun I ever shot, other than like a BB gun, was just a 12 gauge shotgun. But that was when I was older.
Yeah, and that's got some kick if you never shot a gun before.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Especially when they put like intense loads in it. It's not like target loads. But it's good. I mean, it kind of sets the bar for you. It's like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't think this 30-06 is going to be much harder than that. But yeah, obviously I started like late 20s by the time I was shooting anything that had any power to it. So it's a totally different ball game. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty early for me, but I think you're on the right track.
I hope I am. I'm always, open to input. So
yeah, you know what we do? Like when James has his bath every night, and then we, give him some milk and read books with him.
Yeah.
Start kind of reading on the couch, and then we'll take him up and read a couple books in his bedroom, and then put him down. But I always get those BC Outdoors books because I'm a BC Wildlife member. So I always get those magazines, and he like specifically calls them out now. Like he's got his stack of books, and he's like, no, that one, that one.
Nice.
And we just flip through the pages, and he points. I'm like, where's the deer? He points at it. Where are the sheep?
Nice.
He points at, what does sheep say? And then I flip it over, and he's like, okay. And then he points at all the boats and the fishermen. And yeah, man, I think it's going to come to him pretty naturally.
That's awesome. You're setting him up there.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
My oldest boy, we've been watching the Elk 101 Corey Jacobson series.
Oh, nice.
Elk Hunt. And then Stone Glacier just came out with one there. It's awesome. I think it's called Border Bulls. Cool. It's a good watch if you haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't. I'll check that out.
Yeah. Good one.
I guess while we're on the topic, what ammo? Oh, you already told me what ammo you shoot. You're shooting Barnes.
Yeah, I shoot Barnes
TSX.
out of both guns.
Yeah. Cool.
And yourself, what are you shooting?
Nosler Accubons, which I like. They've been really good. But I've gone through a few different kinds through my rifle, and I just find they shoot the best. And I just like I kind of just like loading them with 180s and just leaving them. So it doesn't matter. Like maybe it's a little heavy for deer, but it's worked really well so far. And if a grizzly bear steps out and we have to defend ourselves, like it'll also suit the purpose there too. Although that's, a pretty big exception. But I guess a better example would be if a moose steps out and I have a tag, then I'm set for that too.
Yeah, I kind of feel like once you find what works the best for your gun, I just don't see any other point to change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's been super consistent. I've gone like 2 years with those and I've been super happy with them. What about, I feel I was going to talk a little bit about exercise and kind of like prep for hunting season. I get the sense that you're so busy and you got like, you're taking the dogs out and you're on the farm that you don't really need to do a lot of training.
Yeah. I eat a lot of junk food just for more calories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mountain house a day. Yeah. Well, I don't know. What I've been doing is Mike was always into the running, which for listeners of the podcast know it's never really agreed with me. I've tried, man. Like I mentally like running, but like physically it just doesn't agree with me.
That same with me, Kelly. Like I started getting that if we're talking about the IT band.
Yeah.
I started getting that too, so I just stopped running.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Man. I feel like everybody has like different, you can't just start running. I feel like everybody has to address weaknesses before they even start. And it's really hard to figure out where those are, I find, until you do it and you get problems. And then it's like the problems never go away. But what I ended up getting was that Concept 2 rower. And like through this whole pandemic, because I have that thing, like every second day, what I do is like a 5K row. It takes about 21, 22 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And that thing's awesome, man. Like it takes, I find for the first bit, like mentally it's kind of hard to row straight because it's incredibly, taxing. It's like 80% of your muscles are on, like with rowing. It's a very, comprehensive workout, but I just find like you put an album on or something and, you just go for it and just try to keep your mind out of it. And it's super good workout. I don't know how well it's going to translate to, hiking and stuff like that.
Well, it's a cardio workout, right? Like
yeah, you're doing... exactly. But the thing is, like, if you're doing it right, it's like 60% legs. Oh. So you're kind of like you're kind of like locking in to good posture at the crunched position. And then like when you push off, it's like, you're not pulling with your arms or anything. You're just literally all legs like pushing out. So you get like that deadlift kind of muscle action going.
Yep.
So I hope that it kind of, from an endurance perspective, it helps in the field. But I think there's nothing better than just throwing a pack on and hiking. Which I've been trying to do with James a lot with that child carrier.
Yeah, and that's what we used to do when our kids were toddlers. Well, the one still is, but you can't fit into it anymore. But that whole part of it, like even taking the dogs for a run is it's putting that backpack on and just having that awkward bulkiness on your back and even putting the gun around your shoulder with the sling. You can put it on one shoulder, put it on the other shoulder. Like I don't have a gun bearer or anything like that. So
yeah.
And when you don't have that stuff on, like you really notice it. You just feel like you can sail when you're walking.
Yeah.
Hey? It's like, you got to get used to your gear. You got to feel comfortable. And I mean, when you're out there hiking, you put that stuff on and you work out on little kinks. Oh, you have one?
Yeah, I bought one before last season.
Which one did you get?
Well, I got just the normal one, if that makes sense. Like, is there
like from Kafaru?
Yeah, Kafaru.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
yeah. I didn't know if he had multiple models, but I bought like the historical, one that most people think of.
Yeah, sorry, that's the one I was thinking. That's the only one I really know of.
I think it's awesome, man. Like totally changed the feel of packing a rifle around, and I hate strapping it to the side of your pack because you can't get to it, and I feel like it shifts your whole pack weight, like it just messes everything up.
Yeah, you got to counterbalance it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. It still kind of hangs off your belt, but it's on your belt. It's not actually on your pack, which is way better. Like when the gun bearer's, counterpointed on your belt, you don't notice it at all. Whereas when it's strapped to your pack, it's just, you totally got to counterbalance it with something else, like your spotter and a bunch of other crap on the other side.
I've always looked at them and I just never, they looked like it looks like a great idea and I just never jumped into it, but that's good to hear because I've been on the fence about, I know Mystery Ranch makes one too, but it's not like that. I think it's a little bit of a different setup, but
yeah. Oh, it's super easy. It was super easy to put on. And I didn't know, like I kind of felt like it'd be a good idea. But once I threw it on there, I had to reshift everything on my belts, right? Like I had to move my bear spray to somewhere else and I had to shift my, rangefinder and all these things. But like once you get it dialed like anything else, I find it doesn't interfere with anything. Super. And it's way easier like duck under trees. And it's not, sometimes I still got to pop it off and carry it if it's too rugged, but it's better than having that thing sticking like 2 feet above your head.
Well, like that's the predicament I was always in. And you're right. You're ducking down over windfall and it's always hanging up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Nice.
I
good.
recommend it.
Yeah. And it's like not even that expensive either.
No, I can't remember how much it is, but it's still more expensive than you'd hope. But, I mean, it's under $100, I'm pretty sure. And then, I find brands like Kafaru and stuff, like they make things that you can be confident in, like, it's not going to break out in the field, right? So I don't mind spending a little extra for the confidence.
Yeah, I like using that analogy too.
I like, that child carrier when you put your kids in it. It's good because you get like that 30 pounds and then you gradually increase it as he gets bigger. James is breaking 30 pounds right now, so he's kind of like at a good, intermediate kind of any day type hike situation.
Yeah.
But I also feel like he throws curveballs at me the whole time. So, maybe it's improving my focus while I'm out there too. Because after a while, he'll start like playing the drums on my head or like taking my hat off and hucking it, or, he's reaching for trees and he's pulling me to one side, and, you get that dynamic too.
Well, plus you got to pack snacks, right? You got to put the water and granola bars and fruit snacks, all that other crap in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it actually load them up pretty good.
Yeah.
It's great for training. Like
exactly. And then by the time you get your hunting pack back on there, you're like, oh wow, this is
you feel conditioned for it. Yeah. I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So like I said, bear, turkey pretty quick here. It sounds like you're going to go for both of them, which historically you haven't. So that's exciting.
Well, I can't. Turkey I actually did right when it opened here, but that was a long time ago.
Okay, cool.
But the bear is going to be my first, and turkey, like I've been out running the dogs, so, and then they're starting to gobble. So
yeah,
I mean, it's getting exciting.
Yeah. So we'll keep in touch and keep us posted.
Yeah, you betcha, man. Sounds good.
Cool, man. Good chatting. Till next time.
Right on, Kelly.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There you go. Episode 135. Hope you guys dug it. They'll be back in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, feel free to follow the guys on Instagram, the Rookie Hunter Podcast, and you're more than welcome to reach out to them by email with questions or show ideas, info@therookiehunter.com. And if you want to help out, you can always leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. Thanks, guys. See you in a couple of weeks.